Regular meeting of the Wethersfield Town Council of September 6th, and I would like to ask for a nomination for an acting chair until the mayor arrives.
I would like to nominate Councilor Martino.
Second it.
May I have any other nominations? May I have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
It was unanimous.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna fight over that.
Okay, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Counselor Rell, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dolores, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Counselor Brello?
Here.
Counselor Hemmon is unable to attend. Counselor Hurley?
Here.
Counselor Latina?
Here.
Counselor Martino?
Here.
Counselor Rell?
Here.
Counselor Spinella?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Barry is unable to attend, and Mayor Montanari will be late. Thank you.
Okay, before we start the council meeting for tonight, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence. One of our former mayors, Mayor Peter Barry, passed away this weekend, our deputy mayor's father. So if we could take a 1-minute moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. There are no hearings tonight, so we'll go straight into public comments. Anybody wishing to speak under public comments? Gus?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going away yet. A couple of months ago, I was told by the mayor that I have received all the answers to the questions of why a stop sign will not be installed on Morrison Avenue, and to give it up and go away. Basically, that's what I was told. Been here for 43 years. You have told me that I have all the answers to the questions I have asked on numerous occasions. I say you have given me 2 excuses of why a stop sign will not be installed. The first one is there are too many stop signs in town, and we do not want any more. And the second one is the existing traffic does not warrant a stop sign. Both excuses do not make much sense to me. A little history now. I pointed it out that the original design and construction of Morrison Avenue was never meant to connect to Silas Deane Highway. Morrison Avenue was a residential street with no through traffic. For unknown reasons, it was connected to Silas Deane Highway around 1955. Personally, I have been complaining about certain conditions on Morrison Avenue for many years, and nothing has been done. I believe that the residents on Morrison Avenue have been treated like second-class citizens. As you all know, before the reconstruction of the sidewalk, the only place where there was no sidewalk was just on the north side of Morrison Avenue, east of Orchard. Do you ever wonder why there was no sidewalk on this location? Let me tell you again. It was because of safety concerns. It is not safe for the students attending middle school to cross Morrison Avenue at Tifton Road. Why? Because you cannot see the intersection when you're going in an easterly direction. The students should cross Morrison Avenue at Orchard, where they can be seen from oncoming cars. By constructing a sidewalk at this location, the town has created a dangerous intersection for pedestrians. The new curb line in this area is a complete mess. Nothing lines up. In this location, nothing aligns properly. The owner at the northwest intersection of Tifton has not gained anything by the reconstruction of the sidewalk. The curb line in front of the house has moved closer to the house, and a retaining wall has been constructed just back of the walk to minimize the grade in front of the house. This location is the only place where the sidewalk is adjacent to the road, just the way it was before the reconstruction. Nothing has changed. I wonder how much the town spent to construct a portion of a sidewalk that nobody wanted it, reconstructed a sidewalk that was the best on the street, and a construction of a retaining wall. And we're talking about wasted of funds. Nothing has improved there. Things have gotten worse. Let me quote again the police report dated May 21st, 2009, and this was before the reconstruction of the sidewalk. Quote, "Stop signs should not be used for speed control. Stop signs should be installed in a manner that minimizes the number of vehicles having to stop. Once the decision has been made to install two-way stop control, the decision regarding the appropriate street to stop should be based on engineering judgment. In most cases, the street carrying the lowest volume of traffic should be stopped. A stop sign should not be installed on the major street unless justified by a traffic engineering study. The very reason that the citizen, which was me, states we need a stop sign, there is a very reason a stop sign should not be added there." End of quote. Now, let me say that I agree with all the points, and I believe that the stop signs on Hillcrest Avenue are not needed nor required. But a stop sign is needed on Morrison Avenue because the sight line for Tifton Road is not adequate for the average speed on the street. Now, Hillcrest Avenue and Orchard has 3 stop signs, and they are not required. Tifton Road and Morrison Avenue has 1 stop sign, and that's the worst intersection there on the street. It does not meet the requirements. Now, let me tell you again and again the following. Morrison Avenue is 24 feet wide. Hillcrest Avenue is 30 feet. Morrison Avenue has a 3-foot grass strip. Hillcrest Avenue has a 15-foot grass strip. Morrison Avenue has an average daily traffic of 730 cars. Hillcrest Avenue has an average daily traffic of 365 cars. Again, the distance between the front of the houses is less than 100 feet for Morrison Avenue, which is only 38 feet from the curb line. For Hillcrest Avenue, the distance is 150 feet and 60 feet from the curb line. What does it do? Morrison Avenue, it's much noisier. When I watch TV and the front windows are open, it's a complete mess. It's very noisy. People go too fast. Yet, Hillcrest Avenue has 3 stop signs, and we have 1. Orchard Street and Tifton Road connect to Morrison Avenue. Only Orchard Street connects to Hillcrest Avenue. Again, they have 1 intersection. We have 2 intersections. They got 3 stop sign total. We got 3 stop sign total with 1 extra intersection. Is it fair? I don't think so. The town has taken measurements for the intersection side distance for Orchard at Hillcrest and found to be 344 feet to the east and 970 feet to the west. The town has also taken measurement for intersection side distance for Orchard Street and Morrison Avenue and found to be 290 feet. 290 feet, remember that distance. Tifton Road and Morrison Avenue is to the west. The distance is 232 feet. Now, let me quote again the police report dated May 21st, 2009.
Gus, can you wrap it up and come back at the second half, please?
I got 2 more paragraphs.
Okay.
The stop sign for westbound traffic on Morrison Avenue at Orchard Street is necessary because of a sideline restriction when on Orchard Street. I found that when driving south on Orchard Street, it's difficult to see westbound cars because of a fence at 6, but yet the side distance is 290 feet. And 232 feet from Tifton Road, there is no stop sign. It seems to me that if you need 1 for 290 feet, why don't you need 1 for 232 feet and 6% grade? The town manager has stated that the stop sign on Hillcrest Avenue are not needed. I have to ask, why are they still there? Thank you.
Thank you, Gus. Anybody else wishing to speak? Yes, ma'am.
So I don't have a lot of prepared comments, but my name is Martha Di Tommaso, and I have lived in Wethersfield, Old Wethersfield, for almost 30 years. And for at least 15 to 20 of those years, we have had ongoing bad smells emanating from what I think is either the MDC or the trash-to-energy plant, or both. And recently, they have been increasingly frequent and increasingly awful. And I just I came here because I spoke to Donna Hemman on the phone the other day, and she said this might be a place I could come and bring these concerns, because I think we need to do something as the leadership in the town about where they're coming from and do something to stop them. Today, for instance, the smell in the morning on Avalon Place was like, my husband compared it to like meat rendering plant that he has smelled in Bridgeport. Later in the day, it smelled kind of like a pigsty. Sometimes it smells like fertilizer. Sometimes it smells like fetid, stinky water. But it's frequent, it's daily, and especially on the nicest days of the year when you go out and the sky is blue and it smells really stinky. It makes it very difficult to enjoy the day and to enjoy your out-of-doors. I think it's a quality of life issue for the neighborhood. I know other people have made complaints about it. I've tried to call the MDC more than once. I've called the trash to energy. Somebody came out, no, it's not us, must be the MDC. No, it's not us, it must be the trash to energy. You know, there's a garbage dump, blah, blah, blah. But if you're living in Old Wethersfield, particularly in the northern end of Old Wethersfield, it's an ongoing problem that I would like to see the leadership in this town do something about, whether it's influencing the commissioners to take some action to mitigate the smells or something. So that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Gail Stewart, 411 Main Street. I'm here to talk about the pool renovations at Wethersfield High School. I was told by Mayor Montanari a month ago or two to take our concerns about the pool renovations to the Board of Ed. We've been attending the building committee meetings, and I know they are working diligently to try to keep the contractors on schedule to get the pool opened by the deadline of October 28th. At the Board of Ed meeting last week, I was told it's not the Board of Ed's responsibility, it's the town council's responsibility. So I'm here tonight to once again request that some members of the town council attend the finance committee meeting, which will be held prior to the next building committee meeting next week, where they're going to discuss the $400,000 surplus of money. Our request is that some of that surplus be designated this year to the pool, and the swimmers have the new blocks, the new diving board, the new record board, and all the other things that we have requested. And I know I've sent all of you a copy prior of our requests. And I understand there's more things to be done with that surplus. I'm fully aware there needs to be some netting put on the top of the building, and they are working very hard, and I appreciate the building committee working. However, this is a championship team. The pool is now part of the renovation. All the other teams, when their fields, their gyms, whatever, have been renovated, they've all gotten new equipment. And I'm asking the same thing for the swimmers now. And I'd like all of your influence to procure that money this year. I'm not asking for those things to be installed. We would not want to hold up the date of opening that pool by 1 minute, but it needs to be procured this year. So the pool can be closed in March, all that new equipment put in, so when the swim team does start again and the Barracudas do start again in the fall, it's all there and ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else wishing to speak? Mr. Young?
Good evening, Robert Young, 20 Copper Mill Road. I've asked more than once about the results from the governor when he proposed $20 million cut. Have we heard back from him or from any of his people regarding how much of a hit the town of Wethersfield was going to be hit upon?
No.
On their, no, not at all. Okay, well, I'm going to keep asking. We may go into next budget year, and we'll never hear. It was tough words by the governor, though, and if he hasn't followed through, that says a lot. Next, I would urge you folks, without the mayor sitting here tonight, to make a vote and put a sign on Morrison Avenue, a stop sign. I think it's, with all the money that you spend, and all the way you throw money around, a stop sign would be very beneficial to that neighborhood and make it safe. I would urge you to do something like that tonight. Do a vote. Show courage. Show the people of Morrison Avenue that you respect them and for the danger that you put them into without having a stop sign. Next. I'm sorry the mayor's not here tonight because I was going to ask a question. Maybe the town manager knows, but we're reading in the neighborhood about Luke Bronin from Hartford. He's exploring regional services. I guess he's coming out talking to the different towns in the neighborhood, in his neighborhood, and we're one of them. And I was interested in knowing if he's approached us, what's happening, what is he asking for? Because I don't think we should participate with him one iota. He has put himself in the hole. His people have put himself in the hole. We should not be bailing them out. We constantly bail them out every year anyway through duress on my part, with the state of Connecticut funneling so much money into that community, which the money just goes up in smoke anyway. I don't think we should be participating, but I would like to know what our town of Wethersfield is being asked for and what we're going to be agreeing to, if anything at all, because I really think that we should know. You know, Hartford struggles to stay afloat, and he's talking about going into bankruptcy. I don't believe a city can go into bankruptcy. It can be taken over by the state regulators. I don't know if, you know, you shook your head, yes. I was under the understanding cities could not go bankrupt. But if they could, I think that's the best thing for him to do. And that would be something to recommend to him if he does approach you. It's his problem. It's their problem. It's not our problem. What we do have problems, and we should be fighting and beating people over the head over, is all these, I mean, I'm only going to mention a couple, but where we end up buying buildings and renovating and costing us so much more money than what our analysis said it should have cost. Our return on investments end up being nothing, whereas they sold it on the idea that, after so many years, we'll start getting our investment back. And I'm talking right now about and I spoke about it at the last meeting, those state offices on what's called the Connecticut River Plaza, where we paid $34 million for those buildings, and now with the renovations and all the problems that they had with those buildings, it's now cost us $101 million. The return on investment was a lot less than $101 million to get the deal through. Now, with being at $101 million, it's going to take about 300 years to get that get any kind of a return on investment from that. And we should be talking to our state representatives and as to penalties to our state employees. I don't care who they are. If they go out and do these kinds of deals and put us at these crazy risks, something nobody would do. They should pay a penalty for that. Look at the Dunkin' Donuts Stadium, which is reported in the Hartford Courant that it's now going to cost $72 million. I hear some deal is taking place now to get it started or get it finished, but the fact is that they've come in with a much higher number than what originally was sold on the public. There should be penalties to those officials. And I know you're all officials sitting here because Wethersfield's got the same problem with the high school. We were sold on $75 million for that building. And then you had to come out for another referendum for an extra $10 million. Whatever you want to call it, it cost more than what we were told it was going to cost. And there should be penalties on our town officials and those who voted for it. But I know there isn't anything. You're free as birds. Yet someone's got to pay. And we're going to pay dearly for that high school. And we're going to pay dearly for that Dunkin' Donuts Stadium, and of all, we're paying dearly for that state of Connecticut building up along the Connecticut River called, what do they call it again? Connecticut River Plaza. And we just have more of these things happening. And this is why state of Connecticut is just creeping along. If we had honest people in these positions who were reliable and did their job correct, we'd be booming. But we don't have those kind of people. It's too bad. And here we have now, we're looking at the pace of growth in the United States is slower in July, and that's going to just keep crawling on us as we go through the winter. It's going to crawl and crawl, and it's the fault right here at the grassroots area. That's the
Can you
fault.
summarize for now, Mr.?
Yeah,
Byrne?
I'm
Come
going to
back
wrap it up,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. But it's too bad the mayor wasn't here to hear me. I'm sure, hopefully he'll listen to it on television. But,
Hopefully he'll be here for the second public comment, and you'll be able to.
Oh, okay, but I'm not going to make the same discussion. He'll have to pick it up later. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak? Anybody else? If not, we'll go into councilor reports. Any reports? No reports. Okay. Councilor comments.
Sure.
Mike?
I'll talk about the MDC, but I'm also, the MDC, when I'm driving by, when I'm driving into work in Hartford, I can smell, and I think it is coming from the MDC. So I can imagine, I don't smell it in my neighborhood, but it's probably, I think it's the MDC because it's right there along going into Hartford on 5 and 15 that connects up to 91. And you can definitely smell it, not every day, but once a week or so you can smell it. So I know, and we have commissioners on the MDC, maybe they could look into that. And also, I asked the town manager just to look into the Glastonbury land deal that was done with the MDC, just to make sure the member towns aren't getting a raw deal for that. I know there was some money that passed hands, we're a member town, they're not, and make sure that we're not somehow getting a raw deal with our other member towns. And then on regionalization, I don't always agree with the last speaker, but I agree that our taxpayers shouldn't foot the bill for Hartford. I know the town manager is on the CCM regionalization committee, and he'll be watching out for the taxpayers and giving them a voice. And I know the mayor has talked to the mayor of Hartford. I don't know what those discussions have been. I would like to also hear that, just to see where the thoughts are on the council on regionalization. I know my thoughts would be, the Hartford got in a tough spot, now they want to regionalize and us to bail them out. If it would have been better if Hartford wasn't in a tough spot and wanted to kind of us both do something together while we were both kind of had a healthy economy. But I don't want to bail out Hartford. I think that's it.
Okay, any other comments? Mike?
I just wanted, excuse me, to share that the Historical Society is sponsoring a celebration this Saturday, September 10th. The Deming House, which is a 350-year-old house, will be open for the first time. It's a private house owned by residents here in Wethersfield, but they've graciously opened it up to the Historical Society. People can tour the house. I think it's $15 this Saturday from 10 to 2. It's located at 400 Hartford Avenue. Eleanor Buck once lived in that house, so we all know the Eleanor Buck Nature Center. She was a true preservationist, so the house is mainly intact how it was in the 1600s. So if you are available Saturday the 10th from 10 to 2, please come by, support the Wethersfield Historical Society. Thank you.
Jody?
I did have a question. I was just driving around and noticed that there might be a new business up on the Berlin Turnpike at the top of Knott, over near Ridge, and I was just curious if that had to go through planning and zoning or how that all
It did. Went
transpired.
through the BZA and planning and zoning. It's gonna be a small used car lot.
So they're all set, good to go? Have they said when they're going to open?
No, not that I'm aware of. Peter's not here, but they had to pave and do some site work in order to move it along, so.
Any other comments? I just want to add a couple, just to say over the past 2 weeks, I've attended 2 ribbon cuttings in town, along with the town manager. We had the Russian Academy of Mathematics open in town, down on the Silestein Highway. They were in Rocky Hill, ran out of space and moved here. The academy is in about 15 states, started up in the Boston area, is to provide children from K through high school with additional help in math to make them learn how to solve problems better, and it helps improve their math scores and stuff. It was very interesting attending that. And then last week, they had a ribbon cutting at Emerson Williams School. They opened up a new playground in the back for the kindergartners and first graders. It was all done through the PTO. They raised all the funds for that. Did a real nice job on it, and as soon as the ribbon cutting was open, the kids shot off like bandits and went on the equipment, had a good time. Good time was had by all there. And then Councilor Rell, myself, and the mayor were at the first day of school at Charles Wright. The governor and the commissioner of education came by to speak. Charles Wright was noted by the governor as the grammar school that had the most increase in their scores in reading in the state. And also present at that were Chairman Granata from the Board of Ed, and John Morris, and State Rep Moran. So I just wanted to bring those out as well. Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As it was stated, I am serving on the CCM Regionalization Committee. We've met once. We formed 2 committees, one that looks at regional services and the other one that looks at tax and finance issues. I'm actually on both. Most of the committee are on both because one kind of works with the other. There's really no set path. I think the goal is to have some legislation available by the time the session starts that actually provides relief at the local level for different things. But other than that, there's a consultant out of Utah that did work with there was a tax committee put together by the legislature last year, and this committee had a report about different tax issues in the state, and they're looking at that as some input and just overall looking across the country on how local government is funded and those kind of things. So it's kind of hasn't coalesced into any real action or any real path yet, but I'm sure it will over the next few months.
Thank you, Jeff. Loris?
We're still waiting for the final ballot to see who's going to be running for the state of Connecticut on November 8th.
Thank you, Dolores. Now we'll go into council actions. But before we do that, I'd like to have a motion from somebody. The building committee met before this meeting tonight, and at that, they tabled item B4C, the epoxy floor for the 2 locker rooms. They're holding off on that for now to get some more information. So can I have a motion to remove that from the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passes. Thank you. Acceptances of resignations from boards and commissions.
I'd like to move the resignation of Matthew Zagaya of 12 Cornish Road, effective 8/26/16, from the Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Commission.
I second that motion.
Any comments? Not? Motion to approve? I'm sorry, vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Appointments to board and commissions. Counselor Hurley?
Yeah, appointment to the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission, John Rashis, 418 Walket Hill Road, 9/6/16 to 6/30/2019.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes, thank you. We have no unfinished business. We have no other business. We'll go into bids. Bid 4A, P4A.
I'd like to make a motion to award the sidewalk projects bid to Nunes, Connecticut for an amount not to exceed $85,000.
Second that motion.
Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Town Engineer Derek Gregor's here this evening to go over this with you. We've combined our regular sidewalk work and our ADA work into one project with the expectation that we'd get more bidders, which we have. And Mr. Gregor's here to talk about that.
Thank you. Good evening. As Jeff had mentioned, historically, the town has had 2 separate contracts for sidewalk work. One contract was for sidewalk repairs and replacements, which included doing some sidewalk ramps. We also had a separate contract that was bid out for exclusively doing sidewalk ramps with ADA tiles. So rather than continuing having 2 contracts doing similar type of work, this year we decided to combine the 2 contracts in an effort to attract more interest in the bidding. Historically, we've had a limited number of bidders, as well as instead of extending it just for a year, we're looking at carrying this contract through the rest of 2016 and all of the construction season for 2017. So we can get on a cycle where we can bid this in the winter when typically the bidding environment's a little bit better and we get better quotes coming in. But having done that, we did open a sealed bid. We had 6 bidders. The low bid came in from Nunes Construction. That was at $94,050. The purpose of the bidding was strictly for unit pricing. We had stipulated in the contract documents that we had a limitation on the funds we were going to spend, which we anticipated would be around $85,000. So the bidding quantities were somewhat arbitrary based on what we've done historically, but we'll only be able to spend as much as we have available, and they understood that. So I had called some references. Nunes Construction is out of Bloomfield. They've done work here at the high school. They've done work in Rocky Hill, South Windsor. The references said they were very good to work with. They were on time, good communication. Everyone I had spoken to was very happy with them and would hire them again. So based on the fact that they came in as the low bid, substantially lower than some of the other bidders that we had, it was my recommendation to award them the contract to finish out this season and continue through next construction season.
Anybody have any questions for Derek? Mike?
How much, me?
Either.
Okay. How much money did we save from getting so many bidders from last year to this year?
I don't have it's all unit price based, so I don't have the specific unit prices. Every year we allocate so much funds. I know with the change of some personnel in recent years, we didn't spend as much as we had, which is why we have a little bit of a balance carryover. So, I mean, looking just generally at the pricing we had gotten for some of the items, I think the pricing is pretty reasonable. I've had experience with this in other municipalities I've worked in, and I felt the pricing for the items was reasonable and consistent with what I would expect. Some items are a little higher, some items are a little lower. This is unusual in the sense that it's an on-call type of contract, and I did speak with Nunes about that. The fact that this is not just come in, do all this work and leave. It's the type of thing where it's kind of an ongoing basis. We try and group the work together as best we can. So I felt, based on that and the pricing that they have and their I outlined our expectation of needing them to come and go. They were quite comfortable with that.
Mike?
Actually, this Mike took care of it. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Derek, I just have one question. When I went through the bid and I was looking at the tiles,
Yes.
the disparity in the prices, are they all bidding the exact same tile, and that's the same tile that we're using today out there?
Yeah, and when we did this contract, I tried to clarify the fact that the contract's set up a little differently. I did upgrade some of our technical specifications to be more consistent with what DOT is doing, as well as our details. And some of the terminology or the nomenclature that's been used recently, for the detectable warning tile item, historically, that has included the ramp itself. The way we did it this time when we put it out is item number 3 for 8-inch reinforced concrete sidewalk ramp is for installation of the ramp. That includes the tile. So when we do a ramp, it's the tile and the ramp and all the work associated with it. Item number 12, which is detectable warning tile, is in those instances where we have a sidewalk ramp that's in good condition, we have the option to have them just cut in a tile into that ramp, which is why it's cheaper. If you look at the pricing, it's cheaper that way. There was some discrepancy, particularly with the second low bidder. In speaking with them, West Pro has done work in town for many years. He was in touch with our staff. He did correspond with me saying that he had made some mistakes on his pricing, which is why there is some large discrepancy in that. I didn't speak with him directly. I don't know if it was related to the terminology, but I was with him in mind, particularly because I know he's been on the project before, to understand that, we've structured things a little differently, so he'd be clear on that.
Okay, just when I saw the disparity in the three prices for the tile, I just wondered if they were bidding on the exact same tile or not.
Yeah, I mean, the specifications were written very clearly as to what that entailed in the bid tabs that they had, as well as the technical specifications and the details.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, can go to vote, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passes.
Thank you.
Okay, item 4B, -1, pool area fire protection.
Make a motion to approve PCO 778 with Davis Ulmer Sprinkler in the amount of $35,548.
Second?
Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is part of the rehab of the pool area. The sprinklers, heads, and system needs to be adjusted to accommodate the new HVAC and lighting. Of course, the design of the old sprinkler system took into account the old plenum and the old lights. This is it's $35,000. We would ask that the motion include a provision that we're still waiting on some water calculations for the fire marshal. So this is contingent upon those being provided, acceptable calculations being provided. But other than that, this is what we need to put the fire sprinkler system back in line. With the changes you see on the agenda this evening, the project budget has about $337,000 left over, but we have not tackled the issue of the screening on the roof yet. And there are some VE items that may come back into play at the end of the project, so.
I just want to ask a question. Will this affect the timeline, or are these two items incorporated into the timeline?
They're incorporated in the timeline. So by approving them this evening, we keep that timeline that we heard last time in line.
So these were anticipated?
Yes. Yeah.
Any other?
Quick question. So with the calculations that we're waiting on the fire marshal for, will that number of 35,000 go up?
We don't anticipate that,
Okay. So it should cover it.
but we need those numbers before any work is released.
Got it.
Jeff, the 337,000 surplus, does that also, is that part of the 500,000?
No.
There's 500,000 additional as well.
We put the 500,000 aside out of the premium, just in case we ran into issues. We've not touched that yet. And this 337 isn't surplus. This is, what you're gonna see at your next meeting is a series of budget amendments that basically put this back into the contingency line
Okay.
for items that are unforeseen. And again, we've not tackled the issue of the rooftop screening yet, and there may be some items that the Board of Ed had originally anticipated in the project that they have given up for budgetary purposes and may come back.
Was anybody at the building committee meeting tonight to know why the epoxy floors were put on hold?
Yes, the epoxy floor, it was put on hold tonight because we weren't sure how the benches were gonna be removed from the floor, because they were kind of bolted in, and how they're gonna be put back. And again, because of the nature of the epoxy, it's got a very strong odor to it, and it takes a while to put it down, so the available date to do this is really April break. So there's really no hurry to do it, so everybody wanted to make sure they understood what was gonna happen in the room before they approved anything.
Okay.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes?
Go ahead.
Motion passes.
And just for clarification, that did include the caveat, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
very good, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Tony. So we're at B.
B4B.
Thank you.
Aye, aye.
Okay, get a motion?
Motion to approve PCO 784 for Ferguson Electric for $99,239.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Again, part of the rehab for the pool. Sally Katz is here to answer any questions, but this provides for the wiring of all the lights, all the speakers, all the exterior, the emergency lighting. When we removed the drop ceiling, a lot of that wiring underneath the drop ceiling was just exposed wire. That now has to be put in the conduit. All those things to put the room back together. So the expectation with this being approved this evening, they would begin work as soon as clearance from the fire marshal and the building official was provided. So when the lights are delivered, that the work would be done, and we're getting the mounting hardware pre-shipped for the lights. So by the time the lights get here, they should just be popped into the ceiling, so.
Terrific. Questions for Jeff or Sally on this? No questions? Mike, good? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. And we're putting the epoxy floor on hold, I gather. I'm sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
The lights will ship basically now, hopefully by the end of the month.
So we're on or a little ahead of schedule.
HVAC work starts tomorrow.
Wow, good. Okay, so we put on hold the epoxy floor. There are no ordinance and resolutions, so we have minutes of August 15th. Can I get a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of August 15th.
Second that motion.
A motion, a second. Any changes, additions? All good? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Very good. Public comment? End of evening, public comment? Jeez, I gotta be late more often. Fastest meeting ever.
Yeah, she's right there.
Yeah, please.
Oh, no.
Gail Stewart. So my understanding now is that there's $337,000 plus an additional $500,000. So based upon my request earlier tonight, when do we find out if the equipment is being approved for the pool?
I'm not sure I understand that question, so I missed
Well,
part of
I
that.
asked
You're
earlier. I asked
I don't think-
earlier, based upon the fact that we have asked for a new blocks, new diving board, new record board, new flags for the pool. So, you know, we had gone to the Board of Ed,
Gotcha,
and they
okay.
Let me
deferred
ju-
us to the town council, and now I'm at the town council. Now I just want to know, because you know our requests, and I'm glad you're on time, I'm glad you're ahead of schedule, and our biggest concern is that October 28th is not so far away. But now that with the requests, and what's the process? Like, when do we find
The
out?
board, and I apologize, I wasn't at the Board of Ed meeting. The board, okay, let me just clarify the 500,000. This was money that was taken from the bond premium that we were using for debt service to put aside in case of an extraordinary circumstance, particularly with the rooftop screening. We had no idea what that's gonna cost, and we still don't. So using that for other things hasn't been discussed. It was put aside just, we ran out of money, and we only had a chance to do it during the budget. Now, the pool issue, that's never been brought up with the building committee. It's never been part of a conversation on blocks. The Board of Ed's not brought that forward to a capital improvement committee. It's never been on their list. So I don't know how that gets forward, but the Board of Ed's gonna have to make that a priority.
Well, the Board of Ed referred me to you.
And-
Mayor Montanari referred me to the Board of Ed, and I don't want to play who's on first anymore.
And
You two need to get together and decide, and personally, I don't care if it comes from the 500,000 or the 300,000, or you are also getting a reimbursement based upon the asbestos removal of 200,000.
Well,
So there's
those
money
dollars,
there.
wait a minute. That's not new money. We anticipated a project budget of $84 million, 50-point-something% comes from the state. So it's not new money coming back on a reimbursement, okay? It's not. We anticipated that reimbursement as part of an $84 million project. That's all that is. It's not new money, it's not money we can spend otherwise, okay?
So who is going to give me the answer? I guess that's my next question. I mean, every other sports team has gotten, the volleyball team got new nets. The basketball team has like 8 new nets and a new gym.
If
So
I'm not-
when is the pool?
Normally
gonna end up
we don't
being
engage, but I just want to, I believe what you're talking about is not, it's a capital improvement project request. It's not a renovation project request.
Well, that's where the
that where
rub
we're
is.
hiccuping?
Yes, because Mrs. Stewart, to her credit, is asking that it be done as part of the renovation.
Okay.
Now, we've had a conversation about this could be a capital improvement item for next summer for the Board of Ed budget, but they have to make that a priority in their budget,
So it's got to go through the normal process for CIP, if we did it that way, is what you're
if you
saying.
did it that way.
Yeah,
But
I'm
right
not
now, the
asking
board
for
has
that.
not responded to your request.
The board referred me to you.
Well, I'm
Again.
sure they're referring it to us in the event that we determine that it would be a CIP budget item for next year.
Well, no, because I think it's a renovation. I mean, whether we want it to or not, the pool became part of the renovation. I mean, I understand in the beginning why it was not.
Yeah.
That's why parents did not show up because of reimbursement, et cetera. But now it is.
Okay,
So
let
we're
me just say,
asking
for the
same
sake of
thing.
discussion, that I'll reach out to the superintendent tomorrow to understand what happened at the board and get some clarification. I have your email, I'll get a response and I'll get back to you. Right now, my understanding is that it's probably being pushed around as it is or isn't part of the renovation, or it might be a CIP. Let me talk to the superintendent, and I'll get back to you, because I was not aware that is still up in the air. So I will find out and get you an answer tomorrow.
Okay, and so I'm going to be emailing all of you,
Yeah, that's fine.
right? Okay.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask one thing?
Sure.
Could we get like an estimate of
For
what
those
this cost?
items?
Yeah, just so we could have it in front of us.
Question I would ask Mr. Emmett, so.
Yeah, okay, all right.
You know, it may be something that is discretionary that can get done, or maybe a bigger project. I'll
Okay,
let him.
that would be helpful for us too,
Yeah,
I think.
and I'll email the full council on what he says, okay? You already know that? And that's a number from who?
It's from the blocks. We've researched the blocks.
This is your research, not the board's.
Mr. Emmett gave us the quote on the diving board. I actually have a less quote.
Okay.
Mr. Emmett gave me the quote on the diving board.
Okay, well, we'll clarify that, and I'll make sure I include it in a response to the full council as well as to you, and we'll see what we can do. So that, I will tell you though, that really is a board, I know you're sounding like we're kicking around, but
Well, it is true.
well,
And I've been back and forth, so.
yeah.
it's being kicked around.
Yeah, I understand. That can be frustrating, but we want to be careful to respect who makes those decisions. And this one falls a little bit in a weird category because it's sort of the renovation, sort of not the renovation. Obviously, during the course of a renovation, several items got done in other areas of the school that probably fell under capital, but they did it during the course of the renovation. Funds came out of capital. There were capital improvement projects approved for this fiscal year that were inclusive of the renovation itself as well. So it's a little bit of a fuzzy area, but I don't think anybody's trying to avoid the question. I think it's a matter of, okay, what do we do it? When do we do it? How much is it gonna cost? So I will get those answers for you and get it CC'd to the council and get you a response. If Mr. Emmett responds to me, certainly tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. If it's Thursday, appreciate that you're following up and being conscientious about getting it done. Other public comment? Gus?
I guess, second time around, right? Gus Colantonio, 16 Morrison Avenue. Couple comments right here that I've been saying about the police report. The police report was written May 21st, 2009. And the first intersectional sight distance from Tifton along Morrison Avenue, it was basically, by the time, 265 plus 75, you know, basically about 400 feet, I guess, I don't know, 350. And at that particular time, there was no stop sign required, no problem with the intersectional sight distance. After the reconstruction, which it came about 2014, I guess, a couple of years ago, when I took the measurement myself, 240 feet, the town manager says, did you pace that? Did you use the yardstick? And after that, they took their own, and they came up with 232 feet. That's after they moved the road in a southerly direction. Now, I have to say, and I have to ask, did we ever ask the police to go and check out again because the construction revised the problem, I guess? You know, that's the only problem I see right now. And since now we do have a new town engineer, you know, the next couple of meetings, I would like for him to take a look at it. You got all the information, and I would like to know what he really thinks about it. Because this is a problem. And even though the mayor, with due respect, you asked me to go away, that I got all the answers, I will not. Okay, and this is the first time that I was told to cut it short. And I've been paying over $7,000 now a year of taxes. And I come right here and I get, like, you know, 1 minute over, cut it short. I don't think it's fair. Thank you.
Thanks, Gus. Other public comment? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn? We have executive session. Okay.
I'll
Thank you.
make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters.
I get a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We're gonna use this room,
Okay,
because Board of Appeals is in the other.
very good.
Clear the room.
When we do the evaluations, do we do? And then we do drop off